fashion lovers, welcome again to another interesting video tutorial. In case you're new here, my name is Gift, and if you're an old subscriber, thank you for always finding a reason to stop by. So in today's video, I'll be showing us the sewing part because this is a part 2 of the patterns we drafted for this beautiful shawl collar jacket in our last video. I hope you have hit the like and subscribe button, okay? Please do well to do that, and I promise you this video is going to be an interesting one as it is well detailed and easy to understand. So now let's dive into today's video. So here on the table, I've already cut out my patterns. I've transferred my patterns to fabric rather. So here I have 2 pieces of the lining fabric for the center front, and here is a doll face bridal satin. I also cut out 2 main pieces for the center front uses the main fabric. I also went ahead to infuse interfacing to the center front only, okay? The center front only is what have those interfacing. And here is a side front. I cut out 2 for the main patterns, the main fabric, and 2 pieces for the lining fabric as well. Now to the back, I have 2 pieces for the main fabric as well, and 2 pieces for the lining fabric. And for the center back, I have 2 pieces for the main fabric and 2 pieces for the lining fabric. So now I'm just going to take out the patterns and then show us what to do. What I'm going to do first is to take those 2 main fabric like so and head straight to the sewing machine and join them together with 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm just removing those patterns so it will be clearer for you guys to see what I'm trying to explain here. So I'm going to take 2 pieces of the main fabric, the side back and the center back now, and head straight to the sewing machine and then join them together with 1/2 inch. Now remember, we added 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm also going to repeat the same thing for the other main fabric and the lining fabric as well. And here for the center front, you're going to pick 1 piece of the main fabric and 1 piece of the center front and the side front, and join them together like so, and also pick the lining fabric and also repeat the same thing. Okay, so now guys, I'm done joining the back part, the back part for the main fabric, and this is what we have. That is the center back. I also gave these joinings notches so just they can relax, and I also give them a good press. So here is what the right side of the fabric looks like. I also did the same thing for the center front and the side front. This is the joining, this is the front part, and here we have the center front, which is the part that had the interfacing. I notched and as well open up my seam. So guys, you need to open up your seam lines, okay? You need to do that. And here is what the front part or the right side of the fabric looks like, okay? So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to put those 2 together like so, the center front, and then join them together on the neckline like so, okay? So I will join them together. I will also repeat the same process for my lining fabric. As you can see, my lining fabric, the center front is a doll face bridal satin, while the other part is a normal fabric, okay? A normal lining. So here I'm going to join this neckline together to with 1/2 inch, okay? So now guys, for the center back, you're going to join them together on the center back line like so. I'm going to leave some allowances or some space around that area, and also when I'm done I will show you what it looks like. So now guys, I'm done joining the neckline together, and I also open up that seam. So what you're going to do next is to pick up the back pattern for the main fabric, the back part, and place it this way. Then take the front part. Make sure the neckline is aligning with the center back line, okay? Make sure it is aligning, and then pin them together like so. Pin them together like so. Make sure it is aligning and then pin them together like so. Then when you're done pinning, please ensure they are aligning. This is very important, okay? So you keep pinning them round, and make sure the shoulder line for the back part is also aligning with this shoulder line for the front part, okay? Pick them up together like so and make sure they are aligning. Pin them together, okay? So you are just going to keep doing this and also repeat the same process for the other part of the fabric as well. pin the shoulder lines together like so. Make sure they are aligning, okay? Make sure they are aligning, because if they are not aligning, it's just going to be drastic, like the result will be so poor. So now when you're done joining, when you're done pinning rather, go straight to the sewing machine and join that together with 1/2 inch. Now guys, this could be tricky, but I need you to just be patient with it when doing it. Just make sure they align and join them together with 1/2 inch, okay? Cool. You're also going to repeat the same process for your lining fabric as well, okay? Pin the two together like so and then join them together just the same way you did for the main fabric. Now to the sleeves, I have a video on the channel already on how to draft a two-piece sleeve, and I'm going to be leaving the link in the description box. Okay, so for the undersleeve, I have two lining fabric and I have the main fabric as well. And for the outer sleeve, now like I said, two-piece for the lining fabric and two-piece for the main fabric. Okay, so and for the outer sleeve, now a two-piece sleeve has an outer and under sleeve. Okay, I also have two-piece for the lining and two-piece for the main fabric. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do now is to notch the center the center line. You need to notch this part, and I'm gonna be showing you why it is important to notch. And my lining is 1 inch shorter than my main fabric for both the outer sleeve and the under sleeve. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to be showing us how to join them together, but before that I would just show us that we notched when we're drafting, we notched some part. Make sure that the notches, you have the notches on the fabric as well, as this will help you to align them together when sewing. Just make sure those linings are still intact. Okay, cool. Now to join them together, I'm just going to remove the pins on the pattern paper and then show us what to do. Now, remember the part that was labeled the front and the back. Take note of this part. So what I'm going to do is to label that part on my lining as a front part. I'm also going to repeat the same thing for the other side as well, front part, okay? And for the main fabric, I will also repeat the same thing as well. I will label those part as the front. Repeat the same process for your main fabric. Guys, this is a very, very important step. It is very, very important step, because by the time you start joining your sleeves, if you do not know the part that is facing the front or the part that is labeled as the back, hey, it's going to be very disastrous. Let me just put it that way. So you do this for both the outer sleeve and the under sleeve as well. Label your lining fabric as the front, the part facing the front, and the part facing the back. So I'll just keep doing this, and then when I'm done, I will show us what to do next. So guys, label those part. I decided not to speed track this part because I need us to understand, okay? So now I'm going to remove those pins from my pattern paper, and then I will show us how to join. So guys, I have one piece of the outer sleeve and one piece for the under sleeve. Now there is a part I labeled as the front on both sides. I'm just going to make sure those parts are facing right side, facing each other. So the front part for the outer sleeve and the front part for the under sleeve, right side facing right side now, okay? So now I'm going to align them to those notches I made earlier. I'll align them to those notches I made earlier. I'm just showing us again that is front part facing front part, okay? So I'm going to align the notches together like so, and then I will head straight to the sewing machine and then join them together with 1/2 inch or whatever seam allowance you added. Join them together with 1/2 inch or by whatever seam allowance you added. And when you are done joining that part, what you're going to do is just pick up the under sleeve like so and align it with the other part of the outer sleeve, and also make sure the notches are aligning, pin them down, and also stitch down with 1/2 inch. So when I'm done doing that, I will show you what it looks like. So guys, I'm done, and here we have this. I've gone ahead to open up the seam lines. You need to do this, okay? I've done this for both sleeves and also for the lining part, okay? I've also joined the lining part for the sleeve. Now guys, it is time to join our main bodies. Okay, so you're gonna pick the main bodies together. At this point, I've already gone ahead to insert my shoulder pad, but here I'm just going to explain to us. So you join them together at the side by whatever seam allowance you added. For me, I added 1 inch seam allowance, so I'm just going to put the sides together and join them together with half of an inch. Like I said, I've gone ahead to attach my shoulder pad. Okay, so I'm gonna be showing us a video on how to attach a shoulder pad maybe later. So guys, I will also pick the lining fabric like so, and then join it together on the sides like so with whatever seam allowance I added. So at this point, guys, I'm done joining the side seams together. I've also opened up the side seam. Guy, you need to press. It is very important, okay? So I also repeated the same thing for the lining fabric. And here, guys, I've also done my flap welt pocket with flap, and I'll be leaving a video later on how to do that. Okay, so guys, the next thing you want to do is to attach our sleeves to the main fabric. Okay, here also I have the lining fabric. I'm just showing us that I've gone ahead to join them and also opened up the sleeve. Now to the sleeves, please pay attention at this point. Okay, so to the sleeve, you want to turn it out this way, and then you want to identify the part that is tilting towards the front. Guys, you need to identify the part that is tilting towards the front. You don't want to make mistake here, okay? Now, as you can see, this part is tilting towards the front, and here we have the front and the other side of the front. So definitely, this is going to be on the right side of my fabric, okay? It's going to be on the right side like so. So I'm just going to show you again what that looks like. Identify the part that is tilting towards the front. So by the time you identify, now this is the reason why you label the front for both the undersleeve and the oversleeve. So this is also help you to identify which part is going to be on what part of the main fabric, guys. So now after you have identified that part, what you're going to do is to identify the center line. Remember, we notched the center line. I'm just trying to take my time to explain this part to us, okay? Because it is very, very important, okay? Very, very important. Now, remember the center line we notched earlier. So what we are going to do is to align that with the center line or the shoulder line of the main fabric. Now, the reason why you notch this part is because none of this joining on the side of your sleeve is going to fall on your side seam on the main fabric, none. So it is the center point you notch that is going to help you by the time you start fixing the sleeve. So what I'm going to do is to align both the shoulder line and the center line I marked or notched earlier on my sleeve together like so with a pin, and then I will just keep pinning it around. I'll keep pinning both parts around like so. Now, if you have drafted your sleeve correctly and if you have a well drafted pattern, you're not going to have issue at all. You're not going to have issue whatsoever with joining this. No part to be longer or bigger than the other. Everything will just match up. So what I'm doing here is just to pin everything together like so. Guys, you need to work with pins. Sometimes I laugh when designers tell me they don't need pins. Pins helps a lot. So you just have to pin them down like so, and then you're gonna head straight to the sewing machine and join them together by whatever seam allowance you added. For me, I added 1/2 inch. So I'm just gonna show you the lining part too. I'm gonna head to align both, and then I'll go straight to the sewing machine and join them together with 1/2 inch. So guys, we are done attaching our sleeves. Our jacket is gradually coming to life. So here is the lining part. I've also attached the sleeve, and as you can see, what we are going to do next is to join both the lining fabric to our main fabric. Okay, so in order to join our lining fabric to our main fabric, there is something I need to show us. Now, I want to show us how to finish our cap sleeve, or the sleeve cap, whatever you call it. I just want it to have this bulgy look at the shoulder line. You know the way suits or jackets have this high look on the shoulder line? Yeah, so that's exactly what I want to explain to us. So here I have wadding. It's about 0.25 thickness, okay? So what I'm going to do is to place the upper part now, that is the upper part, not the undersleeve, the upper part of my sleeve on the wedding like so. Is not getting to the undersleeve, it's just on the upper part of the sleeve. And then I'll place it on the wedding like so, and then I'll go ahead and trace it out, okay? I don't want to trace out that shape, okay? That's just what we need here. I'll go ahead and trace it out with my pencil. Make sure it doesn't get to the undersleeve, okay? And then after tracing it out, I'm just going to mark out about 1.5 inches round like so. I'll just mark it out like so. You can use 1 inch as well. So I'm just going to keep marking like so, 1.5 inches, and then connect the dots together to give me this curvy look. So I've gone ahead to cut out the front part. I'm just making the first part, I'm just making sure it is aligning with the second one. So I'll just go ahead and cut that out. Now, by the time you cut this out, you're going to have this at the end of the day, okay? So now, when you have this, what you do is to make sure the part, the shiny part, that is the part that has the gum, is facing the main fabric, okay? It's facing the main fabric. So in order to attach that, I will just pin it this way. So guys, pay attention this time. So I'll pin it down this way like so. You keep pinning like so, okay? Roll it over it and then pin down. Just keep rolling over it and then pin down, just as if you're attaching a bias. So pin it down this way, and then do the same thing for the other part of your sleeve. Now guys, you need to take your time when doing this. You need to take your time when doing this. So I'll just pin it down like so. I'll keep pinning, I'll keep rolling in, I'll keep pinning, and I'll keep rolling in. So guys, when you are done pinning, this is what it's gonna look like. And when you are doing this, at this point, I've removed my shoulder pad, okay? So guys, you don't want to fix your shoulder pad before doing this. I forgot to tell us. So you just pin it down this way, and then go to the sewing machine and stitch it down, and make sure it doesn't exceed or get to your sewing allowance, okay? Make sure it is still within the sewing allowance. So I'll go to the sewing machine now and join them together. And now guys, I'm done. This is what it looks like. As you can see, this is what the sleeve or the armhole area is looking like. I mean, the upper part of the sleeve, it has this bulgy effect, okay? I love the outcome. I love how it looks. So at this point, I went ahead to reattach my shoulder pad, and guys, this is what it looks like. So guys, now it is time to attach our lining fabric to our main fabric, and to do that, you are just going to take the sleeves out of the way. Take the sleeves out of the way. You don't want to sew your sleeves together, okay? Take them out of the way. Also do the same thing for your lining fabric. Make sure the upper part is aligning, okay? Pick the neckline area, or the neckline, the center neckline area, and pin it down by aligning it with the main fabric like so, and then pin it down. Then you also pick the other side. Please, like I said, take your sleeves out of the way. It's none of their business. So now you pick the lower parts as well, and then pin down the strategic points. Okay, make sure the strategic points, the side seam, all the joinings are aligning. If they are not aligning, it's not going to be neat and it's not going to be fine. Make sure they are aligning, and this is why you have to open up your seams as well as use the allowance you added. Sew by the seam allowance you added, okay? So now I'll go to the sewing machine and sew all that round, okay? So now guys, I'm done joining every part together all the way round, okay? So remember the opening, can you see? I'm just showing us, I sewed everything together all the way around. I also notched. So remember the opening we have on the lining center back. So that is the point or the place I'll be bringing out all this whole fabric out from. So guys, I've brought it out, and this is what we have. At this point, guys, we now have 4 sleeves. We don't have 4 hands, we have 2 hands. So now it's time to attach both sleeves or both hands together, so that we only have 2 sleeves. And what you do is to bring out the 2 sleeves from that hole again. Yes, I call it manhole. So just bring it out this way and then attach the sleeve. And to do that, guys, I need us to also pay attention. Now at this point, you want to identify the part that is the outer sleeve and the part that is the inner sleeve. Obviously the outer sleeve will be bigger than the inner sleeve, okay? So now in order to attach them, remember they are currently wrong side out, okay? But you're going to be attaching it right side facing right side from the inside. I don't know if that English makes sense, but that's the only way I can explain. You're going to be attaching them right side facing right side from the inside, even though we have the wrong side facing wrong side right now, okay? You're just going to be attaching them from the inside, even though you have the wrong side out now. So now this is exactly how you're going to be pinning them, okay? Make sure the outer sleeve of the lining is what you are attaching to the outer sleeve of the main fabric, and make sure the joinings you have there, the seams are aligning, okay? The seam lines are aligning. So I'm taking my time to explain this part to us. So when you are done pinning, this is what it's going to look like, okay? So now you go to the sewing machine and join them together with 1/2 inch. You also repeat the same thing for the other side of the sleeve, okay? The other sleeve rather. And when you're done, bring out your sleeve like so. And then, guys, we are basically done with this jacket. And this is what we have. So I'm just going to finish up that part with hand stitching, and then I will give this a very good press. So guys, this is a beautiful jacket we created, and I hope this video has been helpful. Guys, please give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe. Till I meet you again, I'm Gabe.